Alright. I know this is definitely a question you've probably asked yourself going on your normal routine. You asked, who is the best ping pong player? Admittedly, this is like asking why water is wet, but I'm going to give you an honest to God answer anyway. Because hey, it's ping pong. In order to figure out the answer to this question, we're going to need to discuss 5 different areas that make up a professional table tennis player's assets. We're also going to need to ask ourselves a few questions. Firstly, are Grand Slam winners the only players who can realistically be the best? Well, winning a Grand Slam is a huge achievement in the table tennis world. In order to do so, you need to win a gold medal in singles in the 3 largest tournaments: the World Cup, the World Championship, and the Olympics. So in short, the answer is most definitely yes. However, there are a few exceptions, but we'll talk about those later. For now, let's discuss the 5 assets. They are as follows: speed, power, strategy, improvisational ability, and mentality. Let's talk about speed. This refers to not only how fast a player can run, but also how quickly that player can react. An element that goes along with this is footwork. Good footwork is the key to how quickly a player can react in a given situation. Some fast players that come to mind are Ryu Seung-min and Xu Shin. Next we have power. This element refers to the player's ability to hit more aggressive and deadly shots. One ability that goes along with this is spin. Power and spin go hand in hand to create a player's power and attack. Some powerful players that come to mind are Ma Long, Fang Zhendong, Ma Lin, and Lu Guoliang. Now on to strategy. Strategy refers to the most common tactics used by a player. The most successful table tennis players in history have employed a strategy that time and time again was useful and ultimately more beneficial than most could ever realize. For example, Wang Hao, being the only player to fully master the reverse penhold backhand, would consistently lure opponents into setting up his backhand strikes. This led him to having an enormously successful career. Another that comes to mind is Jan-ove, who consistently employed attrition tactics, goading players into attacking a wonderfully skillful set of blocks, followed by a well-placed counterattack as soon as the opening is presented. Some of the most successful strategic players that come to mind are Wang Hao, Jan-ove, Ma Long, and Zhang Zhike.
漂亮。 好的。
Now we have improvisational abilities. This refers to a player's ability to react to an unexpected shot and respond accordingly. Every physical and strategical element in the game can be combined to improvise successfully. Some players with exceptional abilities to improvise that come to mind are Ma Lin,
漂亮。哎呀。
Ma Long, Fang Zhendong, Jan-ove, Zhang Zhike, Timo Boll, Ryu Seung-min, Tomokazu Harimoto, and many more. Finally, we have mentality. This element refers to the player's ability to remain calm and not become overwhelmed with the thought of winning or losing. This is a huge part of what makes the professional table tennis world so difficult. Because when you're the best in the world, the skill gap is rather small. This one element can pertain to how successful a player can and will be at the highest levels. Some mentally tough players that come to mind are Zhang Zhike, Ma Long, Jan-ove, Lugoleong, and Pong. And yes, these are the Grand Slam winning players. These are the players that did not allow themselves to fall victim to the mental curse that burdens many players. For example, Ma Lin, Wang Qin, and Wang Hao all came within one major tournament of winning the Grand Slam. Ma Lin and Wang Hao even making it into the final of their only missing tournament. Ma Lin having lost his chance at the World Championship win 2 times in 2005 and 2007, and Wang Hao losing his chance at the Olympic win 3 times in 2004, 2008, and 2012. So now that we know which elements create the professional table tennis world, which player can be seen as being the greatest of all time? Firstly, we have a major issue with the list of Grand Slam winners. 3 of these guys having played before ITTF changed the size of the ball to 40 millimeters. This was the biggest change that the game had ever experienced, and made previous generation players completely different in style and strategy, which means that we're essentially comparing players from completely different types of games, one which relied more heavily on spin and ball control, and the other on power and reflexes. So what we're going to do in order to not create unnecessary controversy, I'm going to tell you who the best player from each generation is. Starting with the previous generation, the best player might just have to be jan-ove. Why? Well, let's look at it this way. His Chinese counterparts, Lugoleong and Konglinghui, both were extremely successful and important. The fact of the matter is, jan-ove had a more memorable and illustrious career. He played at the highest level for longer than any other player in history thus far, and most importantly, he set the standards for what became modern table tennis in many ways. Many players going forward even attempting to mimic his style, but alas, to less success than the inventor. He was the first Grand Slam winner, and a memorable one at that. On to the current generation. The best player just has to be Ma Long. Here's why. Ma Long is the only player to ever win gold in every tournament that a Chinese player can possibly achieve in the sport, and has gone on to prove himself as a player that was able to overcome the severe mental handicap for many years of his career. But after overcoming the fears involved in failure, he achieved more than any other player so far in history. Many believe he could be the first to ever win a double Grand Slam. With that being said, the only question that remains is, can Fan Zhendong put an end to his dictatorship and cement his seed to overtake the dragon? We'll find out in 2020. Thanks for watching. Please check out any of my other videos and follow me on Twitter to see what I'm up to. If you'd like to see more content, please consider subscribing and leaving a comment on what you would like to hear next. Take care.